I rise today to talk a little bit about the Wall Street Reform Bill that the Senate Banking Committee has been working on for the last 6 months. And it is my hope that we can get this bill through this body and off the floor very soon. In the past 48 hours, I have been very encouraged by what I've heard about as far as the progress of negotiations between Chairman Dodd and Senator Shelby. And I urge my colleagues to keep up the good work, but remind them that actions speak louder than words and that now is the time for action. So my message today is clear. Let's get her done. I hope that we are now at a point beyond trading rhetoric where we can get down to resolving outstanding issues in a constructive way. We need to end the era of too big to fail once and for all, and end taxpayer-funded bailouts that came with that too big to fail. Mr. President, I voted against both bailouts of Wall Street and the U.S. auto industry because I thought taxpayers were getting a raw deal. I don't believe in bailouts. But I do believe in making sure that there are referees on Wall Street, to make sure that the big banks and the investment firms play by the rules, to make sure that taxpayers and Main Street small businesses don't pay the price of the sins of Wall Street. The strong resolution authority and pre-funding mechanism included in this bill will strengthen taxpayer protections. And requiring big Wall Street companies to pay into this fund and forcing failing firms into bankruptcy isn't going to lead to more bailouts. It just, in fact, will have the opposite effect. But if my Republican colleagues have other ideas about how to provide strong resolution authority to protect taxpayers, I look forward to working with them. So let's stop the rhetoric and get down to the business our constituents sent us here to do. We need to address the worst financial calamity since the Great Depression. Let me also say how much I appreciate the work of my colleagues that have been willing to talk in a thoughtful way about these issues. I want to say thank you to Senator Corker for speaking the truth, for rightly noting that some of the concerns that have been raised in this bill could have been resolved in 5 minutes. After listening to some of my colleagues on the floor yesterday, I think that our concerns may be more alike than unalike, and I'm hopeful that we can work together to address common concerns. Everyone knows that we've got a pretty good bill here. My good friend Senator Shelby has said that he agrees with 80 to 90% of what's in this bill, and I'm heartened by the news late yesterday that we may be close to an agreement. I hope that that means that we now have the political will to address substantive concerns and move forward with this bill. When I was elected to the Senate, I vowed to make Washington look a little bit more like Montana. I hope that we can show the people of Montana that we have the can-do attitude that they expect in addressing problems of this magnitude and in moving America out of this financial crisis. The American people are watching. Montanans are still steaming mad about the $700 billion bailout, and I, like them, have a hard time understanding why we haven't set the rules yet. Rules to prevent the risky behavior that got us into this mess nearly 2 years ago. Let me say to all my friends in this chamber, we have waited long enough. We simply can't afford to wait any longer to reform Wall Street. Doing nothing is not an option. Passing down a watered-down version of this bill is also not an option. To do either of those would leave us in a vulnerable position, vulnerable to another collapse.